This is John Cena. Smash the like button if you believe that all elite wrestling's lack of dominate big men has chased away half their audience.
Now, what do I think about Miro asking for his release from All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling? I gotta be honest, I forgot he was still on the roster. How sad is that? People were so happy when Miro got released from the World Wrestling Federation. People thought that Tony Khan was going to give him his big break. He might be the first big man that Tony Khan has screwed over. He might be the face of the topic where Con Man don't like big men. He was the first big man that Con Man fucked over. I believe he lost the TNT belt to Sammy G. Let that sink in. A small man. Okay, if that was Raw or SmackDown, do you think that Triple H will book Sammy G to beat Miro for the US belt? No, of course not. I believe that Miro was the greatest TNT champion of all time. Every match he was in, you cared about. He was a fighting champion. He was booked very, very strong. But ever since he dropped that belt, man, he hasn't done a damn thing. And it's like, why? I don't get it. He's never on Dynamite. Hell, he's hardly ever on Collision or Rampage. So it's like, bro, does he have heat? I might put him in the Adam Coleslaw category. And here's what I mean. All Elite Wrestling fucked up his life. Because last time I checked, he is no longer with his wife. Just like how Adam Coleslaw is no longer with Britt Baker. Both guys who came from the World Wrestling Federation who thought that Con Man was going to change their life. And he made their lives a living hell. Adam Coleslaw, when he was not injured, he was booked like trash, garbage. I would never ever forget his feud with Orange Cassidy. That is a huge downfall. He goes from being the greatest NXT champion of all time to beefing with Orange Cassidy. That is a huge downfall. The rise and fall of Adam Coleslaw. But Miro says, hold my soda. Man, why does Con Man hate big men? He is the poster boy for Con Man hating big men. And it's like, why can't Miro challenge somebody for the world title? Where is he? See, we talk about Wardlow, we talk about Hobbs, we talk about Big Cass, we talk about Take a Shit, we talk about all these big guys that Con Man jobs out. But we never talk about Miro because he's never on the show. It's very disrespectful because he was a big name on Raw. He was a big name on SmackDown. And for him to be in catering, bro, this company, you can make the argument, it cost him his marriage. Because you best believe Miro brought his stress home to his wife based on how shit he was treated in All Elite Wrestling. He was booked like shit. The moment he dropped the belt to Sammy G, we never saw him. He was on and off TV. So I don't blame him for asking to be released. That is a prime example. Miro was used to put over small men. He hardly ever faced big guys. He was used to put over small men. That is a calling card for every big guy on this roster. And it's not like Miro can't wrestle. He's a very talented wrestler. Nobody has ever said Miro can't wrestle. But this is a company that would rather push Orange Cassidy every fucking week. Every Wednesday, we see Orange Cassidy having a match. Every fucking Wednesday. He never misses anything. We see him every week. And it's like, why? He is not a draw. Like, you have to go by supply and demand. Nobody cares about Orange Cassidy in 2024. You would rather push that twig boy over Miro, a guy that can relate to the casual audience. He's a big guy who has a great look and this man can wrestle. You don't know what to do with him? And it's not like Miro has not evolved. He is very, very different from Rusev. Miro and Rusev are very, very different. I respect the fact that Miro has evolved since leaving the World Wrestling Federation. That's what I asked for. Now, let's compare him to Adam Coleslaw, who has never evolved. At least Miro has evolved. He is no longer Rusev Day. He is the Redeemer. He had a great gimmick. He had a great gimmick that was working. People loved it. Casuals loved Miro. That was a great gimmick because nobody knew who the fuck he was talking about. Was he talking to a demon or was he talking to God? That was a very great gimmick that the crowd loved. But where is he? He's not injured. What's up with these stop and start pushes? Here's what I think. I think Miro was a CM Junk guy. That's what I think. I think he's being punished for being a CM Junk guy. And here's why. When was the last time we saw Miro? The last time we saw him, it was during the CM Junk era, the Collision era under CM Junk. That is a weird pattern. Ever since CM Junk has left this company, where is Starks, right? Where the fuck is Wardlow? Where is Miro? Where is Scorpio Sky? You see, all those guys were mainstays on Collision. Under the CM Junk era, those were hand-picked guys that CM Junk picked on his show. And ever since CM Junk got fired, we have not seen Miro or any of his hand-picked talents on that show. By the way, that show is trash. Nobody cares about Collision because you went away from the vision of CM Junk. He was trying to put guys over that Tony Khan Man was not using. Fun fact, Khan Man was not in charge of Collision. It was Dale Bryan and CM Junk. Remember, he said that that was his show, right? So all those guys that you saw, those were handpicked by CM Junk. And ever since he was fired, we don't see him because CM Junk noticed that those guys were not being used. Remember? He handpicked Hobbs on that show. Hobbs, man, he was getting pushed strong under the CM Junk era. See, you gotta pay attention to these breadcrumbs. You gotta pay attention to these clues. These are clues on why Collision is trash and why we don't see Miro or any of these underutilized guys on TV anymore. Because CM Junk, those were CM Junk guys. 2 years ago, I made a video saying that Miro was a great TNT champion. He was booked perfectly as the champion. He was dominant. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's just Khan Man, he just woke up and said, you know what? I don't like big men. I don't like their matches. Let me push small men. That's my favorites. I love small men. But bro, your ratings have gone down. Where's Miro? How come you don't want to put his ass on a show? This is what I don't get. We thought Miro was about to get a big break when he was signed to this company. And to me, everything was just fine. Everything was just fine until CM Junk left. Miro has not liked how the way he's been booked in All Elite Fake Pro Wrestling. But how is that a shocker? Now, I bet you are saying, what about Samoa Joe? Well, he's fat, right? We are talking about bodybuilders, not fat men. Bodybuilders. To me, small men like Con Man, they relate to guys like a Samoa Joe because he ain't no bodybuilder. He is not going to win a beauty contest. So Con Man relates to him. He don't relate to a Miro or a Hobbs or a Take a Shit or a Wardlow or a Big Cass. He relates to small men and fat men. Nobody is impressed with fat men. That's what Con Man looks for. He does push fat men, but he don't push buff ass dudes. Why? He's jealous of big buff guys like a Miro, Hobbs, Wardlow, Big Cass, etc. He's jealous. He is intimidated by big ass buff dudes. Somebody reminded me that Samoa Joe was a world champion as a big guy, but no, he ain't no big guy. He's fat. He has no muscles. That don't count to me, right? I would put Samoa Joe in the Orange Cassidy category. His body ain't impressive. So no, he don't count as a big man. A big man is a guy with muscles, like a Brian Cage. That's a big man. Joe is fat. He is not a big man. That don't count. That is not how that works, sir. So please, Con Man did not reward Joe the World Championship as a big guy. No, he's fat. That don't count. We are talking about bodybuilders. Con Man hates bodybuilders like a Miro. Okay, if I'm lying, then where the fuck is Miro for the past 2 years? Now, I wouldn't call Miro a jobber. He's not. Miro has not been booked like a jobber. He's just not on TV. That's the fucked up part. He is just not on TV. And now Miro says, fuck it. I don't want to be here anymore. Now, do I think he should go back to the World Wrestling Federation? Yes, that is a strong possibility. But I say, why not TNA? I think TNA would treat Miro very, very well. But let's say he did go back to the World Wrestling Federation. Like I said, he needs to go to SmackDown. SmackDown has no heels. Cody Rhodes has no more opponents. He is stuck with Sikoa and Roman Reigns. That's not good. There's nobody left. So I say, let's bring in Miro. Bring Rusev back to SmackDown. Let's see how this works. Turn him heel. Turn him heel. I think this is a great trade. All Elite Wrestling, they get back Lashley, and we get back Miro. I feel like that is a great move. Bring back Miro and put him on SmackDown to feud with Cody Rhodes as a heel. I think that is great booking. Like I said, SmackDown has no more fucking heels for Cody Rhodes. I say, let's bring in Miro. I think Miro has tons of upside on SmackDown under the guidance of Triple H. Let's see how Triple H will book a Miro and not Vince McMahon. Because obviously, Vince McMahon got bored of Rusev. So let's see how Triple H will book a Miro. Just look at Bronson Reed. Why can't that be Miro on SmackDown? Right? So what are my thoughts about SmackDown going to 3 hours? Okay, that is dumb, but I get it. And here's why. USA Network, they are going to have only one show, and that's SmackDown. They have no more NXT, and they have no more Raw by next year. So they have only one show left. That is going to be their flagship show. So it does make sense for them to replace Raw as their new show that goes over 3 hours. So that does make sense. But, bro, it's a trash roster. SmackDown, man, this is not a 3 hour show. This show is very, very flawed. How dare you go to 3 hours when Cody Rhodes has no more opponents? Like, what? This show is going to be fucking boring. It's not that deep. This roster ain't that deep to go over 3 fucking hours. Okay, yes, I get it. There's no more Raw. There's no more NXT. But you gotta make this work. You can't go to over 3 fucking hours with this current roster that you have. That don't make no fucking sense. You have nobody outside of fucking Nia Jax and fucking Jade Cargill, fucking Belair, Cody, Roman, Solo, LA Cosplay. You have nobody else outside of that when it comes to being an attraction. So you want to go over 3 fucking hours? Man, you are crazy. This is not going to be good unless Triple H builds up this roster that it can stay over 3 hours and keep people entertained. But I doubt it. This roster is very, very weak if your world champion has no more heels to face. So now he's stuck with the goddamn bloodline and Roman Reigns. Wow. Triple H has really taken for granted SmackDown these past 2 years. But I am a fan of the idea of Miro coming back to the World Wrestling Federation. Man, it is a travesty. It is so sad and fucked up on why Miro asked for his release. Because I'm like, listen, when it comes to All Elite Wrestling, they have a very boring, underwhelming roster. So I'm like, how can you not fit a spot for Miro on your show? Are you crazy? So you think the fans want to see Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Useless over Miro? All I'm saying is Miro, he needs to come to SmackDown, and I think Triple H is going to revive his career in the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm done.